G'day guys and gals. So, Dur-nar is up next, but before I get into this, there's a little bit of a disclaimer. Now, for me to get this second operator record, I actually had to take my Dur-nar up to E2 level 60. I also needed 200 trust, but I had that. So, this was much to my chagrin because I didn't want to do it, but being the completionist I am, I had to. So, there was a lot of tight moments in this when I was going through it in my practice runs. I was not particularly happy with any of it. So, I just want to give you guys that sort of heads up before you go into this, that you may need a high level Dur-nar. Secondly, because we will be using skill number 2, shielded counterattack, I would also like to say that having even one mastery skill in that is probably going to do you a hell of a lot of good. That said, all that aside, if this does help you out and you don't mind at all, then please help me out by leaving me a sub. So we are going to pop in Dur-nar right up the front here. Next, we are going to deploy our healer. Doesn't matter where, as long as they can reach Dur-nar. Last but not least, we will be deploying Cruz. Once again, Cruz probably on probably on literally this forward tile. Because the heavier enemies come from the bottom lanes, or the bottom halves, so we kind of want those lanes covered. And basically, we wanted to do the deployment in that order because it gives Dur-nar a little bit of time to take some hits, because her shield counterattack skill is a defensive skill, so she needs to be getting punched in the face, which is not ideal for anybody, but that's where we're at. So once again, we want to kind of delay this skill use a little bit, and we're going to use it now when this last group starts moving. Now, you'll notice that this skill literally runs to its absolute limits, and I hate it. That's why I say having a mastery skill, I've actually timed that a hell of a lot better now that I've done this so many times in practice. But that skill runs far closer than I would prefer it to, so just bear that one in mind, guys. That's why I say if you have at least one mastery skill in the skill, it'd be fantastic. One mastery point, sorry. So once again, we're going to let this play itself out. This is pretty much just all deliberate fodder right now. It will get a little bit scary once these guys all start moving. But thankfully we're using Cruz, or that we were given Cruz, I should say, and Cruz does thankfully do a very good job here. Which is, I guess, surprising, because these are all shielded enemies. But anyway, once Dur-nar's skill's good to go, we're using it, right? Full stop, we're not waiting. As soon as it's good to go, we're using it. Because otherwise, as you saw, they were starting to leak. So that's danger zone. And that's, again, why I said at the start, my Dur-nar is E260. Because big concerns. Now, I know this looks really, really freaking dodgy, but it is, again, it's a deliberate wave, so don't worry too much about it. Once you're at this point, you're pretty much home free. This is the easy wave, because Dur-nar, surprisingly, at least mine, doesn't take a hell of a lot of damage from these enemies. I believe by the time that skill cycles through, one of these enemies is just about dead. So we're going to use Ansel's skill, just to keep Dur-nar topped up. And we're going to use that skill once it's good to go. And that's it. So, as I said, guys, at the start, I'm really sorry, but because I took Dur-nar up to E260 without even trying this at where I had it before. She was a significantly lower level. But it's going to be good food for thought to at least have one mastery point in that second skill, just to sort of make it work a little bit better. She does a little bit more damage, get a little bit more use out of it. It'll be a little bit more comfortable, but I certainly would consider having your Dur-nar at a decent level before jumping in there. So, that aside, sorry for that, guys, but I hope it helps you out, and if it does, please leave me a sub, because that's how you can help me out. That's all, though, if this is the last or first video you've watched. Dur-nar is the last one for this group of simulation paradox simulations, and if you haven't checked out the others, by all means please do, because one of them is Durn and everybody has Durn. If this is the last, thanks for tuning into them all, and I hope to see you guys for the next lot.